surprised and taken aback by several scenes in the movie, and if it is PG, I'm very shocked.
Hello. Please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat. We'll put a movie on for you. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we look at the movies from the past to see if they're still good today by our modern eyes and has Grandma's approval. And I'm your host, Isaac. Does it strike you as odd that none of our relatives are related to us? And who's joining me for a special movie, a series of unfortunate events?
This is Seth. Goodbye, children. It's been fun.
You look great, Seth. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been real busy lately. I know you have as well, but it's fun to be able to do this.
Absolutely. It's great to get together with you again. I'm just slowly, like you said, I've been a little busy, but I've been slowly getting my area situated. It's still got some tweaks to go on it, but I'm just still loving the posters behind me. I love the posters behind you. It just looks great. So again, we're going to keep giving praise to movieposters.com. They just really hooked us up and highly recommend them. If you want to get some posters like us, go check them out. But I've been great. This is a movie I've been kind of waiting to see when we get the chance to cover it. And a big thank you to you, the listeners. You guys voted for this to be the next film for us to cover. So big thank you. And check us out. Make sure you're following us because we'll have a weekly poll where you will get to decide the next film we cover and any recommendations you have. So again, thank you for that. But before we begin, just want to say, if you like hanging out at Grandma's house, hit that like and subscribe. Be sure to comment below your memories, anything you'd like to ask us, all that good stuff. And if you have not seen this movie, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing. Go watch it now. Come on back because we're going to have a fun time with a little movie called A Series of Unfortunate Events. So this is a movie that was actually, it's quite interesting to think about because I feel like this was just yesterday when it came out. But it was actually all the way back in 2004. Again, we sound like we're getting old with everything, but it was released back on December 17th, 2004. And it had a budget of $140 million. The box office, it was pretty decent, $211.5 million. And just kind of glancing at the reviews, just at a glance, again, we'll get to our reviews towards the end. IMDb has like a 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 72%. The Google users, your generic ratings, things like that is around 76%. So pretty favorable reviews across the board. But I'm interested, again, going back to this was over 20 years ago. What are some first memories that you have with this film?
Well, I'm going to shock you. I had never read the book nor seen the movie. However, I had saw most of, if not all of, the TV series.
Okay. That's true because there's a TV series. This was before that, but I'm the opposite. I have not seen the TV series. This just screams to me Hot Topic and emo and angst because it was back during that time and it's still kind of around, but especially the 2000s, that was just the trend. So anytime I would walk by those type of like stores in the mall, back when malls were a thing, this was like a big centerpiece, I recall. This is what a lot of people enjoyed and liked. It kind of has that tone to it. And we'll get into that, just kind of that darker tone. But that's kind of my first memories. I never actually saw it when it came out. It wasn't till later that I actually saw it. But that's my first memories. I think of more of the merchandise and advertising around it more than anything. But with that being said, what were some of your expectations going on to the rewatch or the first time watching this?
So I was hoping it was funny, not too intense, not too dark for the kiddos.
Those are good expectations to have. You're hoping for those kinds of things. But yeah, I was brave enough to watch this with my children, and we'll get into it. My expectations was I hope my kids will enjoy this. I remember the darker tones. I remember some interesting things and just very fuzzy, but I was just hoping they would enjoy it. Well, before we get into our plot rewind, let's pause for just a brief moment to hear from our sponsor.
Love movies as much as we do? Bring the experience of the big screen to your walls with MoviePosters.com. Whether you're into classics, blockbusters, or indie gems, they've got something for every film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can get 15% off your order now. Just use code Grandma's House 15 at checkout. Head to MoviePosters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today.
Right. So, at this point, I don't think we had the VHS. There might have been some floating around, but I feel more comfortable to say, when it comes to this film, let's take the DVD out of the case, slide it on into the DVD player, and press play.
Three children are left orphaned when their house burns down with their parents inside. They are left in the custody of a distant relative, Count Olaf, played by Jim Carrey. It is soon apparent that Count Olaf only cares about the children for their large inheritance. Hide your young ones. Grandma fell asleep. It's time for a story.
I like it. So with that said, Seth, you've never seen this before. I am so anxious to hear. What is your first impressions when you're watching this movie?
It was a lot to take in. Unpacking this was a hefty job. I really don't know how to describe my first impressions. I'll get into it deeper.
Sometimes less is more. I can tell from those statements. I mean, this is a unique movie. I just have to say, your first impressions are at the very beginning. It threw me for a loop because I forgot. There's like this elf movie, and you're like, did I put on the right movie? Hang on a second. It throws you for a loop, but it's trying to warn you. It's trying to tell you, like, look, this is not your typical movie. Much more on the darker side. We'll get into if this is a family movie, but it's called a family movie. I mean, it's I think actually I didn't bring out what the rating was. I think it's just a PG rating. It's got children in it, and they're kind of the focal point, which I like. You know, we'll talk about some pros and cons here. I think this is one of those movies where there's some pros and cons. It feels like we'll get into it, but. Yeah, this has a very unique sense to it. That's my impressions. Is it's got a unique style. It's got this unique story, for sure. And I will say one thing. We'll get into it more again, the pros and cons. But one thing I do really like about this movie is the cinematography. I think that's maybe what I'm a sucker for in movies. I really do like, as unique as the story is, how it's told. It's very good. Like if you are into that artsy style. I've read reviews on some people that take that angle and they eat this movie up. So I think that's what they were going for, and they did really good. However, getting back to it, what did you think of? I think we got to start with the characters. There's numerous characters, and you just one after the other get to meet them. But I'm just going to leave it open to you because I want to hear your thoughts. What are some characters? What comes to your mind?
So I'm a big Jude Law fan as well as Jim Carrey fan. There are so many great characters, like you mentioned. The children were great. I especially liked I think they were twins that played Sonny. I think originally it was triplets, but I think they ended up going with twins that played Sonny, which was a lot of fun. And I'll get to that more. Yeah, the characters were just outstanding. There's a lot of things I'm hoping I can remember to say because it's not in my notes.
Yes. I enjoy Sonny. It's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And they describe Sonny as mordacious. And it was one of those like, what is that word? And you have to look it up, and it means you have a tendency to bite things. You're just very inclined to that. And that's what cracked me up at the beginning. It's kind of introducing you to the characters, and you see Sunny like hanging onto a table, just kind of hanging there. And she speaks her own language. She just talks, and there's subtitles. I love that as well.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And the two siblings know what she's saying throughout. I think that's a big thing, a pro I would put with this film. The comedy is a little more on the dry side. It's very like subtle, but if you're paying attention, you'll get a kick out of it, I feel like. So that's something I like. Yeah, to go along with the characters, though, I mean, what do you got to say about Jim Carrey? I mean, he is obviously the scene stealer, plays the very villainous, just evil, very evil, but I don't know. It's like you can't help but like him in a way, too. It's Jim Carrey, right? But yeah, what are your thoughts with Jim Carrey as Count Olaf?
Just amazing. Well, Jim Carrey in general, because he plays multiple characters in the film. Yeah, he does an amazing job. That's a big undertaking when you have such an over-the-top actor or character to play, and he did such a good job reining it in. And I'll touch more on that when we get to the fun facts and things.
Yeah.
But I wanted to jump back and say about the plot that I had in my notes. It's rather dark with many intense plot points. But that being said, it's very clever. So to go along with what you're saying, the writing was what was strong with this, I think, for me anyway.
Right. I agree. That's the very strong, and it's based off of books, children's books at that. Very dark toned, but it's a series. So from my understanding, they didn't adopt the whole series. They just did 3 of the now like 10 or 11, because it was actually ongoing. I could be wrong, but yeah, when this movie was made, it was still ongoing, and they adopted like 3 of them. So this is more of a overview of the series. And you were talking about the TV series. I've heard that the TV series is very faithful to the books. So if you've seen the TV series, you probably are familiar with the books more than you would know. But this is I've never read the books. I will say one of my children has and enjoys it. So that's one of the reasons we watched this, is they were wanting to see this. But one thing I do talk about with my kids when they're watching movies, if they get really quiet, it's normally something very intense. Maybe it's that. There was a lot of that in this movie. I'll just say, where to begin? There's so many dark elements. It's just a constant, just murder, murder left and right. And that's just something I'm like, I can take dark themes. We've talked about, and reviewed, considered films that are dark. Brave Little Toaster comes to my mind. There's lots of dark in that. I have it right behind me. Rescuers Down Under has some dark elements to it. But there's just something about it. I don't know. Even for me, I was like, this is a little dark, for a kid's movie. And I mean, it doesn't overly show stuff, but it's just like one person's killed and then they're off screen. It's like, whoa, oh, wow. But that's what this story is. That's what the book series that I've talked to. I mean, what are your thoughts on the dark themes? I don't know where to start on those.
It can get overwhelming, but I felt like they tried to level it off with humor, even though it was dark humor. There's not much lightheartedness in this film at all. In fact, I would say the only thing is Sonny's character. It's the funny, lighthearted character. I don't know, man. It's hard to break down the darkness.
There's so much. Count Olaf is one that gets the children. That's already sad right off the bat, but the narrator tells you this. He's like, this is not your happy story. Again, they do a good job of that. Like, know what you're getting into, because this isn't a happy story. But it's pretty much Olaf gets the kids and he's wanting their fortune, the family fortune. So he's trying all these different ways to off the kids, and it's parking a car on the train tracks. And
Why?
yeah, and It's funny. It was kind of funny with him because he just parks it. And that's going back to the cinematography. I really appreciate how they did that, as dark as that was. He parks the car and just says, I'm going to go inside, locks the doors, and he's in this like convenience store getting something. But then it's not till later, oh, this is on train tracks. It's so weird how the convenience store is situated. It almost felt like a dream state. Did you kind of get that sense, like how it was situated?
A lot of the action sequences felt like a dream. Yeah, it was not. I don't know how you'd want to phrase that.
Yeah. It's kind of like perceptions off at times, but it's still realistic. And again, it feels like you're in a dream because he parks the car and you're thinking, oh, this is like a little mart or something. But then it pans out and the mart is like right next to this railroad, and they're parked on it and locked. And that kind of goes along with the characters because the one sibling, Violet, she's a thinker. So she's able to think her way out of stuff. I really appreciate that too. She's able to concoct this, like, it's kind of unrealistic, but it's a way to trigger the tracks to go off. Like they use what they can. And then Klaus got this photogenic memory. So I think she said something like, do you remember anything about trains? Like when they realize this train is barreling towards them. And that was really cool. Going back, I could gush about the cinematography because like he's thinking about, yes, the locomotive in this, it goes back to the library and it shows just like the book coming out and stuff. Those kinds of things I will eat up. I was just really like, this is really cool storytelling. It's not just saying, Klaus, do you remember this? Yeah, I remember it. It's putting you in the movie. I really appreciate that. On the flip side, still very dark. Do not park your car on train tracks with kids. That's not good. And yeah, I mean, what else comes to your mind? Just anything else? I mean, there's so much we can unpack.
Spoiler alert, when the house caves in, basically, that is very intense and dark. I was blown away by how dark that was.
Yes.
But again, she was clever enough to figure out how to get out of the house in time. So that was very cool the way they did that. Just a lot of cleverness to the writing. I bet the books are amazing.
Yeah, like I said, my one child, he enjoys it. And I mean, that's kind of dark. I have no idea. Maybe it's something I should read, see what kind of stuff is in there. But it's interesting. You have to say it has an interesting style. I go back to that. It's a unique style. It's just I don't know how to put my finger on it. It's very different. It doesn't try to hold back on pushing the boundaries, really. It's Count Olaf trying to off these kids that are supposedly his relatives, and he's not letting anything stop him. I mean, he's just nonstop coming after them. And then it gets to the point where towards the end of the film, he tries to rig things to actually marry Violet where he'll get it. So it's just like, how do you feel about this movie, right? It's just kind of like, can you explain it? I can't really.
So the way I see it is in a nutshell that Jim Carrey's character is going to do anything it takes so that he can get rich off of his family members, and he'll stop at nothing. Basically, stop at nothing. And I was a little surprised and taken aback by several scenes in the movie. And if it is PG, I'm very shocked.
I could be wrong.
It was still entertaining. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I almost need to look it up, but I'm seeing PG.
Okay.
So you just don't even see PG anymore. It's pretty much, well, I should say G. I know this is definitely not your G-rated movie. But it's just interesting. It's a very interesting movie. I think as a family film, we'll get into it more, but what just sticks out to me is the dark elements. I mean, it's a lot of greed and murder and that type of thing. It's kind of like a mystery. You're trying to unravel what's going on. And that's another thing. I mean, we mentioned spoilers, when we're talking about this, but turns out it was Olaf, who actually killed his parents too. Like he's had the contraption that was set up for their mansion. So, I mean, it's an interesting concept and story, but I mean, just I guess buckle up, know what you're going to get in for, and
Yeah.
at least again, they will tell you at the very beginning. They throw you a little curveball with that little elf, trying to make it look funny. I think that's like what you're saying. They try to look at it the humor side, but yeah, just buckle up. That's all I can warn you. If you've never seen this movie before, just buckle up. So, yeah, anything else or any fun facts to add?
I have 2 small quotes before I get to the fun facts, and then remind me about the cinematography and the fun facts. I'll bring up another one I didn't write down. So the quotes I liked were, if you have ever lost someone very important to you, then you already know how it feels. And if you haven't, you cannot possibly imagine it. I thought that was very profound, and that it really resonated with me. And
Yeah.
then the very funny quote to bounce that off is, she's the mayor of Crazy Town.
That quote, yeah.
Yeah, that's clever.
There's some great quotes in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's Jim Carrey, so you're gonna have to have good quotes. The only one I'll mention, because I mean, there's so many, but the one was there's actually a couple, but I can't remember how she said it. But Violet was cooking. It was towards the beginning when he was making them do all the chores, and he was saying something along the lines of like, make us dinner, because he had guests over. And she said, I'm making like put and sika or something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong, but Jim Carrey, Count Olaf stops and goes, "What did you call me?" Anything Jim Carrey. I mean, he just steals it. It has so many lines. He's
it elevates too. Elevates
yeah.
the rest of the film.
It does. It's kind of that relief it needs, dare I say, kind of like it's so dark that when you see him, it kind of brings a smile to your face. As much as he's so evil and he's so villainous, Captain Sham, when he becomes that sea captain, is so funny too. So many good lines in that. But yeah, I agree with those. Those are great quotes. But yeah, what are some fun facts that you have?
So I'll bring up the cinematography that you've been talking about. So I'm going to blow your mind right now.
Okay, I'm ready.
Quote something I read about in research was that everything in this film was on a soundstage.
I can kind of see that. That's still awesome.
Even like the exterior shots, so that you can kind of tell what, you know what I mean? It's such a big soundstage that they were able to make that look lifelike. That's pretty awesome.
That is.
That
That's
speaks
really
to
cool.
the cinematography.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up there. That's all I
Yeah.
got to say. It's very good.
Okay, so another one is when the children first meet Count Olaf and Jim Carrey says, "Wait, let me do that one more time. Give me a line again, quickly, while it's fresh in my mind," was not actually in the script. Carrey accidentally forgot his line and, staying in character, wanted to try it again, but they kept the cameras rolling and felt that it worked in the way that it happened.
That's great.
So that's a Jim Carrey moment. That's not in the script. I thought that was really cool.
That is cool. I love that too. Like when I wonder if that was ad-libbed. Like the scene where he's being introduced to the kids and he's just
I feel like the whole thing was kind of, they had a basic outline and then he just completely went off on his own on that one.
just anytime he's like interacting, you almost feel that. But that's so awesome. That specific quote scene, that's terrific. I love that.
You'll like this next one. So Tim Burton was attached to direct at some point, with Johnny Depp playing Count Olaf and Glenn Close playing Aunt Josephine. When Burton left the project, Depp left as well. Brad Silbering replaced Close, feeling that Meryl Streep would have be a better for the role. Streep accepted the role of Aunt Josephine upon the request of her daughter, a huge fan of the books.
Very nice on that. That was another point I was going to bring up. Like this was Tim Burton without Tim Burton. That
Yes.
just makes so much sense now. It
Yes,
really does.
It was very Tim Burton-esque, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. And of course he'd have Johnny Depp. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been a tag team for decades and I don't see that ever slowing down. I'm surprised I haven't heard of a another movie with them coming out. It's almost like Death and Taxes and Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. They go all together.
So I have one more fun fact, a real little one. Dustin Hoffman, I don't know if you noticed it or not, made an uncredited cameo appearance as the critic attending Count Olaf's play.
That it was very subtle. So
Very quick.
It seems like I remember seeing it, but I
It
think
was very quick, yeah.
so much going on. That's one of those upon rewatch. I'll definitely keep an
And
eye
I
out for
bet
that.
you he got paid out of the nose for it too.
Oh yeah. Easy day at the office for him, for sure, I bet. But he's Dustin Hoffman, so it works. So, well, there you go. That's a great make that opinion yourself of how you feel about it. But before we get to our reviews, we like to look around, just see what other people's thoughts are. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts, Seth, but I'm very interested about what kind of reviews you're seeing out there.
All right, I'm a little all over the place with these reviews. Bear with me.
Okay.
Els_like_cheese says, very dark, but that's the way fairy tales are supposed to be. 8 out of 10.
He's got a point. Or they got a point, because that's if you look up some of those fairy tales that Disney, threw they're all nice on, not so good. So I can see that. That's a good point.
Flickery Show said, not lemony fresh. 6 out of 10. Get it?
But it's a 6 out of 10.
Lemony, like lemony.
But it's not lemony. I guess they're rating through me for a loop. I like that. Not lemony fresh, but the 6 out of 10. Okay. All right.
Okay. So our last one is Rated V for Vinny said, dark, effective fairy tale. 7 out of 10.
Okay. That's kind of the ratings I'm seeing, is about that 7 out of 10. So that's right there. But yeah, what else is there to say about it? I think everybody kind of has that same thought. It's dark, so just be ready. Can't stress that enough. But let's get down to our reviews now. I'm very interested to hear. So I have to ask you, Seth, like I always do, when it comes to the film, A Series of Unfortunate Events, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to leave it at grandma's? Are you going to hide it in the attic?
So I have to say, this strange, dark comedy is terrifying yet fun and keeps you guessing. That being said, I really did not know what to make of this one. The acting alone needs to be rewarded, so I will leave this at grandma's, hoping to watch it with an appropriate audience.
I like that. Very nice. I was on the fence for just the fact that I got to see this with my kids, and like I mentioned, they were very quiet at times, so it's an awkward watch with kids. Let me just say that. You mentioned grandma's taking a nap. This is a movie probably you don't want to watch in front of grandma. At least my grandma. I don't think she would like this one at all, but it's like I said, it's got some great things about it, of the cinematography. Jim Carrey's just a gem. You could watch practically anything he's in, and this is one of them. The other actors are great too. You mentioned Meryl Streep is in this.
Yes.
The children are wonderful. They are very professional, and I just have to hand it to those children actors when they come along and they do a good job with it. So there's a lot of good things about this. The dark elements I was not a fan of, though. I'm not gonna lie. Just the killer leeches, that just gives me the about it. And the poor ant is left on a boat on it. It doesn't show anything, but it leaves it up to your imagination, which is sometimes even worse. So it edges it out. Like you said, I was very close to putting this in the attic just because it's like, ooh, there's a lot of things, but it's still a good movie and the way it's done, the style. So I will leave this at grandma's. I'm going to watch this very cautiously. I'm going to make sure grandma's not around because I don't want to have that awkwardness. It's just like, sure enough, she might be out of the room and she walks in at the worst possible moment. So it's one of those movies that has a lot of those. Just be careful with it. So that's our reviews, but talking about grandma, we have to hear what grandma has to say. So Seth, what is going to be Granny's family-friendly rating.
Grammy's family-friendly rating is C- for intense scenes and dark themes.
But there you go. So that's on that scale, it passes. It's very much a caution advised.
Yeah.
Though, going into this, I don't know if you've had enough. I think we've stressed that a lot on this, but just be advised, caution advised. There's some elements that not suitable for all ages. I mean, it might be for some kids, but not all. And even as adults like me, I was kind of, it's pushing the envelope at times. But if you go into it with the right work, and also make sure you watch the whole credits. I will say that the credits are awesome just to watch the artwork, the animation, going back to the unique style. I really enjoyed those elements. So you might be able to enjoy something out of this, but just be warned. Just keep that in mind. Know what you're getting into. So there you have it, folks. There is our review. Before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can email us at movies@grandmashouse@gmail.com. We are now on Patreon. Check us out. Become a member so you can stay up to date. Go to movieposters.com and type in Grandma's House 15 at checkout for 15% off.
That's it. Again, if you want to get some of these posters, they got huge selection, a lot of original reprints. Go check them out. They probably have your favorite movie there, no doubt about it. And also check out our newsletter. There's going to be a link in the description. Go sign up, because if you are on our newsletter, you are automatically entered into our contest. We just gave away a poster up to $25 for movieposters.com. We're going to do it again for the month of March. So if you want to get in on the action, go sign up now. Make sure you're on there. We're going to have a newsletter that keeps you up to date on movies at Grandma's House, our episodes, gives you Granny's family-friendly rating. It'll also give you deals for movies, all that good stuff. So stay tuned. Make sure you're all subscribed and up to date with movies at Grandma's House. We appreciate you. And also, like we mentioned, we put our movies up for a poll. So be sure you're following so you can vote and you can contribute to what film we're going to cover next. Well, that is going to do it for our time at Grandma's House. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Bye.